Ms. Lester has
Okay.
a question,
Okay.
and then Mr. Valentine will be next.
Councilwoman Richardson, I want to thank you so much. Now that you've said this about your legal team, though, maybe the next question I have, in order to expedite our process, do you think that you might ask if your team is working on a resolution as well, perhaps share the language with our team that's going to begin working on one for the gas pipeline?
Okay, why don't you let your legal department send to us what you have done, and we will incorporate that into whatever language. Well, let me tell you something, that's difficult now, because today would have been the day
Right.
to put that through in order for it to be heard on Monday
Never mind.
and Wednesday. So what happens is, whatever you want to be presented to the council has to be presented on Wednesday before 3 o'clock.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Councilwoman, we thank you. Anything else?
Okay.
Dr. Donnelly?
Okay.
Mr.
I think it was Angel.
Mr. Valentine, I'm sorry.
No, just to add clarity to it, we had 4 choices. We had either go to a national search, we had to either negotiate a contract, we had also a decision to extend the contract, and that's what we meant. And we decided to vote to extend the contract. So we met the sunshine. What happened in this situation is that the Jersey Journal buried the ad in the obituary column, and nobody saw it. So to me, when citizens approached me that it was I called legal, I saw it on page 18 in the obituary section of the paper. So it was noticed in the 48 hours that it was need to be notified to the public.
Okay.
So, but we had 4 decisions to make that day.
Okay.
And we made the decision to extend the contract.
Just as a point of information, I mean, it may be advantageous in the future to pay for an ad. If something this important is going to take place.
Was it the
I mean, wait a minute, well then they can't put it in the obituary.
They put it where they
You know the Jersey Journal, Ms. Rich. You know the Jersey
Okay,
Journal.
all right.
Dr. Donnelly, and then Ms. Hack has something to say, please.
I would just, Councilwoman, I thank you very much for, Councilwoman Richardson, I thank you very much for coming and explaining your vote, because I'm one that champions the sunshine laws just as you do, and I was very disheartened to come back from vacation and see that we were criticized by the city council. The other thing is, we voted to extend, but the 30-day notice is in, and on the 11th of August, we're having the public hearing on the contract, so it'll be it's going to be well sunshined.
Let me just clarify one point. The
Right.
city council was pretty much in support. There was only a couple people, me and someone else, who voted against it. So don't say that the council didn't support it, because they did. My colleagues supported your decision. Yes. Yes.
We were understanding that the city council
Voted 6-3.
6-3 to challenge our right to.
You have it backwards.
That's what was in the.
I think Ms. Mack has a copy here.
I don't care what you have the record or you have the paper.
Well, we would really appreciate it if you could pass it along to us. We would like to see it.
I think, well, listen, you guys can just request your little, you know how to do this?
We will.
Get it from the city
But that would
clerk.
change a lot of, I mean, I know
I
Dr.
mean,
Donnelly was very upset about it.
Me, and I'm not gonna say who else, because that's not for me to say, but I can tell you there was 2 or 3 people against it, you know, who voted to send the resolution to not, no, wait a minute. No, I didn't. No, it's not.
Maybe 3 people.
Viola, you got it wrong.
Wait a minute.
Viola, you got this one wrong.
I got this one wrong?
You got this one wrong.
We're under the impression that it was 6-3, saying that the board acted irregularly and we shouldn't have done what we did. That's the impression we got. Now, maybe the 3 people you're talking about, they supported the board's position.
Those are the people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They supported.
That's right. That's right.
Ms. Hack has a comment.
No, I just wanted to say that we were never contacted by any corporation counsel for the city of Jersey City. And in fact, all of these inaccuracies, including what occurred the night of June 22nd, the copies of the ads, all of the other inaccuracies were cleared up in a letter to Mr. Phillips' attorney requesting withdrawal of the petition, which he could have shared with his colleagues on the council. So I'm disheartened that, you know, the council was misled, and the only thing I can suggest is if you put up a resolution trying to rescind that resolution that was just passed 6-3.
Well, it's a moot point. It's moot in that you have an opinion from the superintendent, you have an opinion from the commissioner.
It's a vote of confidence.
Well, it's a matter of the Board of Ed feeling as though we didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it seemed to me that the council was saying you did something wrong, and we didn't do anything wrong according to our attorneys. So I think maybe you should take that back to the council and maybe ask them if they had all the facts.
I'll make that petition and
Thank
see
you. Appreciate
what, if there's any support for it.
Mrs. Mack.
But understand this, my position is not to talk about whether they should extend the contract, not extend the contract, do for search, that's not my issue. My issue, it was whether or not this was properly sunshine.
Right.
That's
We
the
get it.
only
We understand.
thing that I'm having, you know.
Well, I think you've heard
Okay.
the opinions. I think
Yeah.
Mrs. Mack has a question, I guess.
I'm gonna go back to the confusion that we all have felt really badly on this one. I was in Vermont on vacation. I came back. I didn't get a notice to my house. I finally, you know, looked through my papers and I saw the ad buried on the obituary page, and I got it emailed to me, so I'd be happy to send it to anybody. Now, the letter of the law. June 22nd, there was an ad, a little boxed ad in the paper, and it said, on June 22nd, at 6 p.m. in rooms, whatever this room number is, there will be a special meeting of the Jersey City Board of Education to discuss a personnel matter and possibly a contract. That's as close as I can get it. So, whatever it said, but it said a special meeting to discuss a personnel matter. We had just come off 2 months of being battered around by personnel issues concerning the teachers' union contract. There was no notice. They met the letter of the law. They had the notice in, and you know, and I discussed it with them. But it didn't say whose contract. It didn't say we have 6,500 employees. Now, did we meet the letter of the law? Yeah, we met the letter of the law. Would it have been nice, maybe, if somebody had done a little story in any of the newspapers around saying, hey gang, you know, the superintendent of schools contract's going to be discussed at a special meeting. When I walked in here and there was no one from the public, I couldn't believe it. There are people that will come out to any public meeting, and you and I know some of them that follow every public meeting. There wasn't one person. So we followed the letter of the law. But if this board was divided on whether it was the spirit or, you know, the getting stuff out, you know, we'll let the politicians and the
Councilwoman, thank you. We just want to thank you for coming and speaking up. And we know that the night we had the board meeting, there was also a political rally in town, and many people went to that and did not come to us.
I just would like to add one other thing. The same situation that happened with this is the same situation that happened when we took the first vote for the teacher's contract. And no one made any issue. Just as the record, I would like us, for all things in the future, to be a bit more transparent and not give the appearance, not even a hint of an appearance, that we're trying to hide something. But I don't think that you can have one set of, be in agreement on one set of protocols on one issue and not another. We had a special meeting for the approval of the teacher's contract right in the same room, and the only members of the public were the union representatives. That's all. There was no camera, no press, or anything. So it was the same set of circumstances that are following here. I disagree with both of them, personally. But I just think that, you know, we can't, you know, you can't play both ends against the middle. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's not personal. I'm talking about the whole board. Not one person raised an objection about the special meeting that was here to vote on the JCA contract. It was tabled because I asked it to be tabled, and then it went to School 11. But when it was here, no one said a peep, you know, and it was okay then, you know. I don't think it was okay then. I don't think it's okay now. I think if School 11 is our place to do this business, then that's what we should do it in the future.
Well, let me just say that it was my call to have it. I'll tell you why. Because once this public meeting is over, we're going to go into executive session, and to have an executive session in a cavernous auditorium in Public School number 11 didn't make any sense to me. We could close the door and have much more of a convenient conversation, I was looking at the board, to have it in Cavan as public school number 11, spread out at the front of the auditorium didn't make any sense to me. That's why I did it here. And the same reason for the other. Thank you,
And I just
Councilman.
need to say one more thing, and this is to you, Dr. Epps. I really think that we need to sit down and meet. So I'm publicly saying to you, I need you and I to sit down. We need to sit down to talk about how we can move this community forward, because our children is so very important to me, and I'm sure they're important to you. So I think that we need to all get together and talk about how we can move this forward, because it's not working like this. Okay?
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you very much for your